Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sand 2 video. Like always, I'm VJ. Today we are going to be talking about the TIANSE PETG filament, or as I like to call it, PETG. So this right here is the black one that we're going to be talking about today. Now I know I've done a review on this before, but a lot of people have been asking me about a good PETG filament. Normally I do PLA. So today we're going to be talking about this one. The only reason we're going to go with this one because I just happened to buy some and I had it laying around. So I decided to do some test prints with it and see how it goes. Now, before we get started, just a few things to talk about. The difference between PLA, ABS, and PETG. It's going to be a real quick introduction to that. PLA is a lot easier to work with. ABS tends to have a little bit more tendency to warp or curl or things like that. And also an enclosure would be recommended with ABS. This one is in between. Okay, so basically this right here, it gives you the somewhat strength of the ABS. So for you engineers out there that are printing models and moving functioning parts, but yet you don't want to do the whole enclosure thing, this would be a good option to go with. And it's just as durable as PLA. It's not that hard to work with, very easy. You can actually, for those of you that don't know, use the exact same settings that you use for your PLA. Use it to print, which I call PETG. The only thing you have to watch out for is the temperature, the bed temperature, and one thing you need to change is your retraction settings, guys. You will get a lot of stringing with PETG. So you need to turn up your retraction rate. That's something you just need to play with. Not all machines are going to be the same, or not all brands are going to be the same. So figure that out by doing some test prints, which I'll show you. I did tons of. Another thing just to be cautious about, guys, if you use a glass, let's say if you're using CR10, you print directly on the glass with no glue stick, hairspray, or anything, I would not recommend that because this thing sticks to your glass very well. It's really hard to get off. So what you want to do is either apply a thin layer of glue, or hairspray would be great, or if you want to print on tape, that will work as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on the actual filament itself. It comes very well packaged, like I said, and it is very tightly sealed. So that's kind of a good thing. The only thing I don't like about TIANSE is the way they label it. I mean, I know it's pretty generic, but the only label you get is that. I wish they would actually put their logo here. So guys out there, TIANSE, the company, if you can just put a logo here, that would help a lot. Because the only reason is there's a lot of companies out there that are using this type of casing, and it's really hard when you're actually printing on 3 different printers to figure out, oh, which one is it. So if you can identify yourself on your spool, that would be great. It also has a little hole right here so you can actually see when you're about halfway through. I wish they would go with a different where you can actually see how much filament you have left. That would be kind of nice. But these are things that I would prefer, and majority of the companies out there don't do that. So if somebody from TIANSE is paying attention, please, that would be nice. The filament itself kind of feels like a little bit of a nylon feel to it. Those rough paper, like a mixture between cardboard and cloth. It's very flexible. It bends. There's no issues with it whatsoever. Just so side note, guys, I actually had to print this at 240 temperature, and I did about 75 to 80 on the bed, and that's what worked for me before I go any further than that. But if you notice the filament itself, there's little grains, someone took a knife and did little cuts on there all the way through, which I actually like because this actually helps the feeder grab on a little bit better as it's doing that. So that's enough about that. Let's go and do some model talks. So these are some of the things that I printed. Again, they're not the greatest in the beginning. As you can see, I had to actually do a lot of printing because I haven't really printed with PETG in a while. Maybe about 9 months ago is when I did it. So I wasn't really too happy with it. I did a lot of prints. I did squares. I did circular prints. as you can see here. Um, and then I printed a Deadpool just to see how it would work. And as you can tell, as I'm getting better and better at this, finding out the settings, my prints are getting better quality. So these are all printed at 10 in fill density, and they're pretty damn strong. So I can't even budge it a little bit. So these are some of the prints that I did right off the bat, and I was happy with. And once I got it tuned in a little bit more, I actually printed this Hulk here, and I think it came out pretty well. Um, the filament works great. I didn't have any issues with it. Not once did it get tangled or the spool or the filament get tangled. The spool fed it right through, no problem. So they wrapped it pretty well. Um, Once I got the temperature down, I didn't have any issues with clogging or things like that. And I really liked that part of it. So this is my print, another one that I did that I really like, which is the Hulk. Now, once I got everything tested out, I went ahead and printed this. I did have some issues here, but I think that was because I had my wall thickness a little too small. But besides that, everything printed fine. And I did merge this model to this model base. So there's 3 models here that I put into one. So I can display it. This is a Hunter from Destiny, the game that I normally play that I told you guys about. So the base is going to need a little bit of work. But besides that, I think it came out pretty well. Not great, but it came out well. So I was getting better and better. So finally, I printed this, the Titan from Destiny as well. So the base, I was separate, and the model was separate, and I put them on together, and this is what I printed. And I feel like this came out amazing, guys. The only issue I had was when I was removing the supports, I ripped off a couple of fingers. But besides that, there was, once I got the retraction rate taken care of, there was no stringing, especially around here. I would have had a lot of stringing on that. The edges came out very sharp and clean. Again, no problems with blobs or zits or anything like that. As you can see, everything basically came out pretty well. So I would definitely say, for those of you guys out there looking to get into PETG, TIANSE would be a good option to go with. I've done multiple prints, and I didn't have any issues as far as the filament itself. I just had issues with the settings that I had. I'm pretty sure there's other brands out there as well that are just as good, but I was really happy with this one. And the price point is a little bit cheaper as well, so that was another reason why I opted to get this particular brand. But I think you'll be happy, and the strength on this filament is pretty well. Mounts very easily. Once you get your settings right, everything's good to go. As you can see from the models that I have here, I think it does a great job. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the review on the TIANSE PETG black color, which I got. Like I said, the only thing I wish they would just put a label on there to separate themselves from other filament brands out there. But besides that, everything came out. I'm very happy with it. So this right here took me 15 hours. It was amazing. No issues at all. This was overnight, so I wasn't even monitoring it. So that was kind of cool. But like I said earlier, this is a great filament to go with, especially if you're looking to test out PETG. I always have trouble saying that, but it worked out great for me. Again, I printed at 240. Bed temp was around 70 to 75. And don't print directly onto glass or anything similar to glass. I would highly recommend that you put a thin layer of glue or hairspray down so it comes off a little bit easier. So there you go, guys. I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave it down below. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so if you want to see new content that will be coming out soon. I try to get one out at least once a week. And with that said, like always, guys, good luck and happy printing.